Some time ago, I stumbled upon a short YouTube horror series called Lacey Games. At that moment, I was looking for a new project to work on, and I thought to myself, why not try to recreate a game similar to that? So, here we are. I attempted to recreate Lacey Games. If you're eager to see the final result immediately, feel free to skip ahead in the video to this time, or click on the first link in the description. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy watching the video. As I mentioned before, Lacey Games is a short YouTube horror series created by the talented artist Ghosttundra. I highly recommend checking out her channel. In addition to Lacey Games, she has many other amazing videos like Immigrant's Road and Bugs Murder. But for now, let's focus on Lacey. Lacey Games tells the story of a girl named Lacey featured in several Flash games. Currently, there are 4 episodes in the series. The first one, Lacey's Wardrobe, involves dressing up Lacey for various occasions. While it starts as a typical girly Flash game, the atmosphere becomes progressively more horrifying. By the end, Lacey is killed and eaten by a stalker. The second episode, Lacey's Diner, has Lacey as the owner of a diner. The player follows cooking instructions to satisfy customers, but if they fail, disturbing events unfold. Ultimately, the diner closes, leading Lacey to take her own life. In the third game, Lacey's Pet Shop, the player fulfills customers' requests before selling pets. Initially, the tasks are simple, like cleaning a puppy. However, the game takes a dark turn, and the requests become increasingly disturbing. Eventually, the setting shifts to a large, eerie house. I highly recommend watching this one for yourself. It's truly a chilling experience. The fourth and final episode of the series is titled The Disturbing Rabbit Hole of LaceyGames.com. In this episode, viewers are introduced to the entire Lacey website, featuring a variety of games. I highly recommend watching it for yourself too. The main focus of the episode revolves around Jay, a friend of Lacey who is considered not feminine enough by many, ultimately leading to her death through the website's creator. The Lacey Games series is very cool and has a lot more to offer. I just don't have the time to explain everything in detail in this video. For a comprehensive summary of the series, I suggest checking out Minax's video on the topic, which I will link in the description. And now, let's get into the journey of creating a lost Flash game. So, first things first, coming up with an idea was way trickier than I expected. At first I thought about making a cooking game since those were my favorite as a kid, but then I remembered Lacey's Diner. I wanted to do something different, so I checked out some games on former Flash websites. Most of them were dress-up games, but I also found some salon games, like hair and nail salons. I decided to go with the nail salon idea. I could have just made a basic nail salon game where you click on the nails, but I wanted to spice things up. That's when I came up with the idea of letting the player draw freely on the nails using a brush tool. And that's how I landed on the concept for a lost nail salon Flash game. Before diving into the drawing and editing process, I needed to establish a plan to keep myself organized. The first step of my plan involved creating my own version of Lacey. I didn't want to outright copy everything from the original series, but I aimed to capture a similar style. Drawing inspiration from Lacey's Wardrobe, I began sketching. This led me to develop Lili, a character inspired by my channel's name and the hair color of my original OC. I quickly sketched a reference image of her before moving on to creating a storyboard. I'll be honest with you, I only spent about half an hour on the storyboard because I was feeling a bit lazy. For the storyline, I envisioned the player in 3 working days, which get more and more creepy over time. The first day would appear normal. 2 customers visit, request nail styles, the player fulfills their requests, and they leave satisfied. The second day follows a similar pattern but with glitches and harsher criticism of the customers. Now the third day takes a dark turn. A customer arrives, the player refuses to style her nails, leading to the disturbing encounter where Lili ends up cutting off the customer's fingers. The player must then piece together the customer's hand before returning to the main screen. After creating the storyboard, I got to my favorite part of the whole process, drawing and editing. So I sat down and started sketching out all of my ideas for the characters. As I already mentioned, I wanted to stay as close to the style of the original series as possible, which is why it took me several tries to come up with character designs I was content with. In the end, I decided to stick to those 5 designs for the customers and my first design of Lili. Then, each of the characters got different sprites reflecting different emotions. Obviously, the last customer got most of the sprites because she was going to be the creepiest of the characters. Besides drawing the characters, I also had to create a starting screen, several backgrounds and a lot of hands. I'll be honest with you, I just traced my own hand for that. Additionally, I had to create a few animations, for example the ending scene, where the player has to put the customer's hand back together, or the different characters popping up on the screen. This was a lot of fun to create. In the end, I just had to add all of my frames and animations into an editing app, and after timing all of the scenes and adding some glitches, the editing was complete. The last step of my journey was to add sound effects and music. That was honestly the hardest part, as I know almost nothing about music. I didn't even know what program to use for creating a good soundtrack, so I ended up using GarageBand. The soundtrack for the game is like 30 seconds long and plays as a loop. Of course, it would have been easier to just take a song from YouTube, but I wanted to create a whole thing on my own, and composing a soundtrack was part of it. In contrast to the music, the sound effects were a lot easier to make. I recorded all of them in my house. The clicking sound is actually just me making a sound with my tongue, like that. I also recorded myself breathing and whispering for the creepy parts of the video, and for the scream I used an old video of 7-year-old me screaming. The only sound that was not created by my mouth was the... I actually recorded that sound from my old critisism toy. It always makes that sound when you turn it on, so I thought, hey, some people might get nostalgic when they hear that sound. I added all of the sounds to the finished video, and besides the theme song, sounding a bit annoying, I was happy with my finished product. And now I would like to present to you Lili's Nail Salon, a lost flash game from 2007. Now that was an exciting ride. The whole process of creating this video took me about 1 week. Considering that it took Ghosttundra just 24 hours to create Lacey's wardrobe is truly impressive. I love this new genre of digital horror, and seeing more and more people making videos like that makes me really happy. Creating Lili's nail salon was so much fun, and I highly recommend you make your own Lost Flash game video too. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day and stay creative. Bye bye!